Welcome to Roger That, a podcast presented by HVAF of Indiana. I'm your host, Lauren Carpenter, and join me as we discuss how HVAF is ending veteran homelessness and how you can join us in our mission. We'll be having conversations with community partners, staff members, and even some of the veterans we serve. We hope sharing more of our story with supporters like you can shine a light and give a voice to this vulnerable population, because no hero should ever be homeless. Welcome to Season 2 of Roger That. That is so exciting to be able to say that. I remember this time last year, I was doing a lot of training for just how to make a podcast and planning out some of the first few episodes. So it's really awesome to think that now, a year later, we are launching Season 2. And the last time you heard from me was all the way back in 2023, which was a huge year for HVAF. It was our 30th anniversary. Yes, we have had the honor of serving homeless and at-risk veterans and their families in Central Indiana since 1993. So in addition to launching Roger That, we also celebrated turning 30 with dedicating our community center in honor of our first CEO, the late Colonel Donald W. Morrow Sr. We held our first ever concert right on the steps of the Indiana War Memorial and hosted our 10th annual Operation Alpha, which raised $150,000. Also in 2023, we were able to make a huge impact on Hoosier Heroes thanks to your support. We provided over 37,000 services, which is the most services we've ever provided. It's even more than during the COVID-19 pandemic, to 1,349 veterans. Also in 2023, 300 veterans were permanently housed. 297 employment services were provided to our veterans. These services include resume help, interview training, and job referrals. 27 veterans graduated from Phase 1 of our VetWorks Workforce Development Program, where they are now working on receiving certifications in education and working with our employment specialists to secure their new dream job. And there were over 3,500 visits to our pantry, where veterans received essential food, clothing, and hygiene items. And we were able to distribute over 82,000 pounds of food and clothing, and that is thanks to your donations. And so far in 2024, we have served 658 veterans, and we know we couldn't serve as many Hoosier Heroes without your support. So thank you so much for donating, volunteering, following us on social media, and being part of the Roger That community. And now this year, we are so excited to be able to bring you a whole new season of veteran-related interviews, topics, and stories. In this first episode of Season 2, you have the privilege of hearing from the one and only Jesse Camacho. Here at HVAF, we recognize Jesse in many ways, as an Army veteran, local business owner, a board member, and financial supporter. Jesse joined HVAF's board last fall, and when I heard his story, I knew I had to get him on the podcast so you could hear his story as well. He has worked so hard to become a successful business owner, and what's even more inspiring is how he uses what he's been blessed with to give back to his community. So without further ado, here is my conversation with Jesse Camacho. Hi, Jesse. How are you today?
I am doing terrific.
Terrific. Awesome. Love to hear it. Yeah, when you, so I take the minutes for our board meetings, and when you came on to join the board and, you shared a lot of your story, and I just thought it was really inspirational, just humble beginnings. And, you've just really, been able to, have a successful life, and really, and I just think it'll be really cool for everyone to hear. So I was like, I have to get him on the podcast. So I'm really glad this is your first podcast. So I'm glad you're.
It is.
Yeah. So I'm glad you're here and doing this with me. So so first, let's just start from the beginning. Where are you from, and just what your upbringing and your childhood, what all that was like.
Well, I was born in Puerto Rico, in Aguanito. I was there from birth to about 11 years old, and I remember growing up. I call it my no-shoe story, for the simple reason that we only wore shoes for school. When we got home, we took them off, and and then we were barefooted the whole summer. It was barefooted, you know. And then we look forward to the following year when we get shoes again. So the today I love shoes.
Yeah, yeah.
But from there, I remember my parents, my uncles, they all have businesses,
Okay.
small businesses. So I kind of had an earning for someday having my own business, even though I was, just a little kid. But from Puerto Rico, we moved to New York,
Okay.
to the Bronx. And
Why did you guys move?
my dad decided for a different life, and he sold the business, house, and we moved to New York. My uncle used to live there, his brother.
Okay.
It was, I remember my first day getting to the Bronx. First of all, getting into an airplane.
Yeah, yeah.
And getting to the Bronx, and then, I grew up in the country. There was a few houses around us. And then we had all these buildings, and I was just looking up and going, wow, what's this? Where we came to. But we adjusted. And then that summer I turned 12. And I was always trying to do my own thing since I was little. So I decided I was going to go into business. And I started my first business. I purchased a grocery cart for $1, a shopping cart. And then I used to go down to the grocery store and take people's groceries to their house. And we did that on Fridays and Saturdays. And then Saturday nights, then had another job, another business. And we were cleaning the building. And I always tell people I started at the top on that business, because we started at the top floor, mapping the floor all the way down to the first floor. And so my since I was 12, I've been pretty much doing everything for myself. I come from a family of 12.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
So, there wasn't everything for everybody. So we, as soon as we could work, we work.
Gotcha, yeah.
Any one of us work.
Yeah. Probably most people listening when they're 12 years old, they're probably playing with their friends or, and so you were on a Saturday night, but you were working.
No, we working.
Yeah.
And I remember that from the time that I was 12, I bought my school supplies, I bought my own clothes, I bought my own shoes, I bought everything. My parents never had to give me anything from the age of 12.
Okay.
I always, so with the money that I made, I even helped a little bit around the house.
Okay.
And from there, I did my schooling in New York. And then one day I decided to go with my friend to the recruiting office.
So how old were you when you joined the military?
I was 17.
17. Okay.
And
So it's because you went with a friend to see a recruiter.
Yeah, just.
So you weren't even thinking you were going to join. You just were going to go with him.
I was just going with him.
Okay.
And then when we got there, the recruiter, of course, he sees, two young boys here. And he asked, how long you guys been friends? I said, a little while. He said, well, if you guys join together in the buddy system, you guys could be everywhere you go together.
Oh, okay.
And
that's how they get you.
We looked at each other and said, okay.
Yeah.
And a month later, we were in basic training.
Oh my gosh, that's fast.
Yeah, that was fast. Yes, just out of high school. And the reason after that I joined, because I always wanted to be experienced. Because my dad went to Korea, the Korea War. All my uncles and cousins and they were all in the military.
Okay.
So I just wanted to experience it. And I always wanted to jump out of airplanes.
Yeah.
So when we were at the recruiting office, I said, well, if I join, I want to jump out of airplanes. That's all I wanted to do. And so I joined the 82nd Airborne.
Awesome.
And then that's when I got to jump out of airplanes.
Yeah, it worked out for you.
Yes. Then I was only in for a couple of years.
Okay.
When I got out, I was, 19 years old still.
Okay.
So I was kind of, like any other 19-year-old, just trying to find yourself and did some jobs and things like that, and went to school. But everywhere I went, my thinking was always, I'm only doing this temporarily. Because I knew there was something out there for me. I didn't know what it was.
Yeah.
But everywhere I went, every job I got, I would tell them, I'm only here temporary. I'm not staying here. I'm not gonna be here 50, 60 years or whatever. I'm only here temporary.
What were some of those jobs?
Oh, geez. From retailing at a store.
Okay.
To the RV industry in Goshen.
Okay.
Building boats.
Wow. Okay.
So it's going back from New York. Then we moved to Goshen, Indiana.
Okay. Yeah, I was gonna ask how you got from New York to Indiana.
And now from New York to Indiana, then Goshen was a very small town. And it was like...
Was this before the military when you moved to Indiana, or after? After. Okay.
Yeah. Well, no, I'll take that back. My parents moved before.
Okay.
Before. And I came to Goshen, and I didn't like it.
What?
I was there for about a month.
Okay.
And I went back to New York.
Okay.
And that's when I joined the military.
Okay, gotcha.
Then after the military, then I came to Goshen and trying to get used to it. And I didn't get used to it, so I moved to Chicago.
Okay.
And that's where I went to school.
Okay. What school did you go to?
Northeastern University.
Okay.
Then I came back to Goshen. And then I kind of say, okay, let me see if I could get used to it. And that I did some different jobs. Then there was one day I came through Indianapolis, and I went to the Soldiers Monument, and I looked at it and I said, one day I'm going to live here. It's not New York, it's not Chicago, but it's a city. It's perfect. And that was it. I just kept going. I was going down to Evansville. 10 years later, I moved to Indianapolis.
What about Indianapolis? Because a lot of people would probably think, why didn't you go back to New York, or why didn't you stay in Chicago?
Well, I did go back to New York, but once you've been out of New York and you go back, then you can see how crazy the life is.
Yeah.
Chicago was a little bit less than New York at the time, but still, it was a little bit, more than what I wanted. I was getting used to in Indiana. So Indianapolis was kind of perfect. It was a small city. So I liked it. And 10 years later, I moved here.
Okay.
So it's been a blessing. Being here.
Yeah. How long have you now lived in Indianapolis?
30 years.
30 years.
Yes,
Awesome.
30 years.
And so then, your business now, Camacho Janitorial, how long have you had that business?
20 years.
20 years. Okay.
So it's going to be 21 in February.
Okay. Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
And so why did you decide to start that specific business?
I was in sales, selling equipment and janitorial supplies commercially.
Okay.
And I always going to do it temporarily. as soon as I could get a chance, I was going to start my own business.
Yeah.
But I never knew that what I did at 12 years old, mapping that floor in that building, that's what I was going to be doing as a business.
Yeah. That's incredible.
What goes around comes around.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, after working with this company, I decided, I'm going to start my own business.
Mm-hmm.
And little by little, I started. I got with the SBA. I got with SCORE, which help small businesses.
Mm-hmm.
And they showed me the way. And one day, they said, Jesse, you're ready.
Mm-hmm.
And, the rest is history.
Yeah. 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 How has it grown since starting it to now?
Well, when we started, it was there was three of us, me, myself, and I. And then my wife came on probably maybe 8 months later.
Okay.
And then we had one employee, which he just retired about a month ago.
Okay.
Our first employee. And today we got about 170 employees.
Oh my gosh. It's just grown a little bit.
Yeah. So we are in Indiana, Michigan, Illinois, Kentucky,
Mm-hmm.
Ohio. So it's grown.
Mm-hmm.
It's grown a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah. What would you say to people right now who are trying to start a business? They're probably hitting a lot of hurdles and, feeling defeated. What would you tell them to keep going?
Well, yes. It's if you have a dream,
Mm-hmm.
Fight for it.
Mm-hmm.
Don't just give up. You're going to have failures. But you just keep going. Is that really what you want? And I always tell people, make sure that what you want to do is something that you like,
Mm-hmm.
something that you enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
If you try to go into business with something that that is just to be in business, or I bought a coffee shop,
Yeah.
but that's not your you want to be in business,
Mm-hmm.
but that's not what you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
So make sure that what you do is something that you want to do.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And seeing, you said how, you wouldn't have known when you were 11, 12 years old, and you were mopping the floors that you'd have now your own business. So yeah, what do you think your 11-year-old self would be saying right now, seeing where you are today?
Oh, it's been a blessing.
Yeah.
I think about Puerto Rico,
Mm-hmm.
and New York, and Goshen,
Mm-hmm.
and Indianapolis, and the trip, the life, how it has gone, circle. That little boy that was 11 years old had a dream,
Mm-hmm.
and he never gave up on that dream. No matter what, it was only temporary, whatever I did.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's amazing. Yeah. And I know you are really successful now, but you make sure to give back to the community, not just to HVAF, but other places. Why is that important to you?
We've been blessed,
Mm-hmm.
and we like to pass that forward. So anything that we do it with always thinking of helping others.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. And what does it mean to you then to give back to HVAF and to your fellow veterans?
It is important that we share our blessings. No one can do it all, but we can do something.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the kid throwing starfish back into the ocean. We all heard that story.
Mm-hmm.
And when the old man comes and says, "There's so many here in the beach," and he throws another one, he says, "Only made a difference for that one."
Mm-hmm.
So we could take 10, 100 veterans that we might make a difference to one,
Mm-hmm.
and that's worth it.
Yeah.
10 or 100 might not need the help,
Mm-hmm.
or don't want the help, but there's one that you make a difference, and that's what we always do. Just there might be one that we could help that makes a difference.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and I know you've been involved with HVAF in multiple ways now. Being at Operation Alpha, being a table sponsor there, and donating and different ways, and now joining our board. So, why did you decide to join our board?
The reason why I decided to join the board, being involved with other like-minded board members that want to help bring close the goal of ending veterans homelessness. And I think that all the board members, that's their goal. That's my goal. That's why I wanted to join. Again, we might not end it right now, or tomorrow, or the next day, but down the road, with all of us together, we will.
Yeah, definitely. Well, we're so thankful for your support. Sponsoring Operation Alpha, being on our board in all those different ways, and I'm so glad that you were able to come on the podcast and share your story with us today.
Oh, appreciate it.
All right, that wraps up this episode of Roger That. Thank you so much for listening. If you haven't already, please be sure to subscribe to Roger That on wherever you get your podcasts. And be sure to follow us on social media at HVAF of Indiana. And for even more stories on HVAF and the veterans that we serve, check out our blog on our website at hvaf.org. Thank you, and until no hero is homeless, we'll see you next time on Roger That, a podcast presented by HVAF of Indiana.